All right, this weekend we have the Magnificent Seven show in Wembley. Looking forward to that, actually. I really am. I'll be doing a few reviews. Probably won't do a watch along, but I'll do reviews of the fights as they happen because there's a lot of good fights on that card. I watched the Boxing News interview with Frank Warren, and because Frank Warren is still very interesting to listen to when he's being interviewed, to see what he comes out with. They asked him about Fury Usyk, obviously, but then they asked him about Fury Klitschko. I know, Fury Klitschko. And I was kind of like, why are you asking about that? But then he mentioned Turki and I was like, because I hadn't heard about this, I was like, right, this is the first I heard about it. Let's just do a Google on Wladimir Klitschko. And the Manchester Evening News have this headline: Tyson Fury offered chance to fight Wladimir Klitschko again, despite Ukrainian being almost 50. Wladimir Klitschko's been retired for years, but has now been offered a heavyweight world title fight. What heavyweight title has Fury got at the minute, anyway? By Boxing Supremo with Tyson Fury, his proposed opponent. Alright, I'm assuming they mean the winner of Fury Usyk, because I was like, how can he have a world title shot? What world title? Boxing mogul Turki has disclosed aspirations to orchestrate a heavyweight rematch between Tyson Fury and Wladimir Klitschko. The Gypsy King House of Manchester initially secured his world title shot in 2015. Yeah, we know he beat Wladimir Klitschko. On the night, Klitschko struggled to counter Fury's unique style. Being outmaneuvered for 12 rounds, Fury was then awarded the victory by a unanimous decision, resulting in a significant upset. And at the time, I have to understand, at the time, there was a few boxing, with YouTube boxing in general, I'm just going to talk in this kind of sense. YouTube boxing in general, there wasn't as many YouTube channels around at the time. There was still, like, Ade was doing Box Talk with Ryan, Hatman was doing his thing, you had people like The Wire, people like that, who we know today. I remember a channel called Boxing Gossip, his name was Tom. I think he was from London, anyway. I could be wrong on that one, he could have been from the Midlands, but he was British anyway. And he was one of the few channels I remember at the time watching who picked Tyson Fury to win the fight. I don't even think Hatman was picking Tyson Fury to win. It was very much he went. Now that's just in the YouTube sense. I think in the bookies, if I remember, Klitschko was quite a firm favorite, but it was an upset. It's not on the level of, say, like Ruiz, Joshua. That is one where you were surprised. Ruiz is good, but you didn't see it. This was like, I don't necessarily say it was big necessarily. You knew Fury was good, but you just didn't think he'd get any favours over there in Germany. You thought Klitschko would catch up. He didn't. The duo was scheduled for a rematch a year later, but Fury delayed the sequel with Ukrainian after being declared medically unfit to fight. There was more to the story than just that. That's what I will say. Turki has recently revealed his dream of facilitating Fury versus Klitschko 2, potentially enabling the latter to become the oldest heavyweight champion in history. The record is currently held by George Foreman when he knocked out Michael Moore in 1994. He was 45 years old, nearly 46. Klitschko, who turns 49 in March, will be keeping a close eye on the impending face-off between Alexander Usyk and the Gypsy King Tyson Fury. In a revealed chat with Ariel Helwani, Al-Sheikh expressed his hopes for the aftermath of Fury Usyk clash. The result of Fury Usyk, a lot of people are waiting to see one of them. One of them is Dubois, another is Anthony Joshua. At the same time, there is a third person I'm dreaming of seeing a fight to give a chance if he accepts, to give Klitschko, to give back to the oldest heavyweight champion if he accepts to give Klitschko to give back to be the oldest, to get back, I'm assuming they mean there, to get back to be the oldest heavyweight champion in history, to give him the chance. This is perfect. Al-Sheikh went on to say, of course, he won't fight Usyk if he wins because they're two heroes from Ukraine, will not fight each other. This is the dream. Fury has a lot of people that want him in line. Klitschko, all the people want to see it from 2015 again. And there's also Joshua will be the hugest Britain fight ever. Again, I'm assuming they're just quoting Al-Sheikh directly here because sometimes his English can be a little bit. Of course, Dubois deserves the chance. The possibility of Klitschko's comeback has been teased across recent years. He's not wrong. He has done that in the past as he considers returning to compete for Foreman's record. The Daily Mail claimed Klitschko made an audacious move to challenge Daniel Dubois for his IBF title following Joshua's passing on the rematch. Negotiations reportedly started for this surprise championship bout, but the plans were allegedly dropped by the Saudis promoters after the Mike Tyson lost to Jake Paul last month. Instead, the pair are now having shifted. We obviously know what's going to happen there. So that's pretty much, that's the end of it there. Yeah, he's not wrong. I mean, Fury versus Klitschko is the only one that could happen because they wouldn't do, obviously, Klitschko versus Usyk if he wins. Listen, if Fury beats Alexander Usyk, I mean, I like Tyson Fury and Frank Warren have even said that they want to do a trilogy fight. And that's fair enough, I can see that, especially if it's a nip and tuck fight, they're one apiece. Trilogy fight makes just a world of sense. Having said that, the Anthony Joshua fight is there. I don't think Joshua should be coming in off the back of a loss, especially a devastating loss like that. But Wladimir Klitschko, he hasn't had a professional fight since 2017. They're not wrong. He has teased a potential comeback now and again, and he has mentioned George Foreman's record, which is a very impressive record to be the oldest heavyweight champion at 45. He was nearly 46. I think George Foreman's born in January, and that fight happened in November of 94. So, his nearest makes no difference. He was nearly 46 years old. It's very impressive, really. I know Michael Moore was never the greatest. He wasn't a terrible heavyweight champion, but he was a beast at light heavyweight. A heavyweight, he had chin issues and stuff like that. And he was bossing that fight as well, mind you. But Foreman had been active. Klitschko, as I've said in the past, he's not fought since 2017. He looked good against Anthony Joshua, but ultimately, whenever Joshua put it on him, he capitulated very, very quickly and was on the canvas. Klitschko against Fury too. It would have been very interesting in 2016 if we got that rematch. It would have been, because I think Klitschko would have picked up from where he left off in that 12th round, which is the only real round you could look at in that fight, and you could realistically. It's not like it was a clean sweep for Fury. Klitschko did have his moments in there, very few. It wasn't a great fight, but the 12th round is the only real round you could look at categorically and say, right, giving that round to Klitschko because he was more active and his punch output was higher. If he'd have picked up from where, and I think as well, Klitschko wasn't hurt by Fury, he wasn't dropped, nothing. So I think he would have went into a rematch knowing that, okay, look, and it was meant to be in Manchester, meant to be in the Manchester Arena. He would have went into that rematch knowing what he had to do, and it would have been interesting because Klitschko never lost via decision before. It was always stoppage losses. So that would have been an interesting one to see what would have happened. It was meant to happen in July 2016. Fury had the ankle injury. And then, obviously, we know what happened with UCAD. And then there was the October date that it was penciled in for the end of October 2016. And then Fury went off the radar. Well, not off the radar. He was still on the radar, but you know what happened. He really did go, into another dimension almost with some of the things he was doing. It would have been interesting. Therefore, we had to wait until April 2017. The narrative that Carl Froch tried to spin that, Klitschko retired after the Fury fight and he was out of the ring for 2 years. Explain to me, Carl Froch, how November 2015 and April 2017 are 2 years apart. They're not. So, Klitschko was chasing Tyson Fury across 2016. He ultimately fought Joshua. He's still in very, very good shape. I think he even still trains boxing now and again. But him becoming oldest heavyweight champion, look, it would be a phenomenal achievement. I mean, 49 years old, heavyweight champion, it'd be unbelievable, really. It'd be crazy. It's not, if he does come back and fight Tyson Fury, let's say Tyson Fury beats Alexander Usyk wants to wait, they do Klitschko Fury 2. I can't see Klitschko having a prayer in that fight. At the end of the day, right, you can look at his last performance against Anthony Joshua and say he looked good. On that night, he would have beaten Deontay Wilder, in my opinion. That Klitschko would have beaten Deontay Wilder, in my opinion. He would have beaten a lot of top heavyweights that night. That night is a very, very long time ago. What is it, 8 years? 8 years or so, there or thereabouts, come April next year. There's no way in hell that Klitschko, 8 years on from that performance, is going to be even a fraction of what he was. Klitschko's never had a good chin. Right? He was always good at hiding it, but he never had a good chin. He's going to be not getting hit as hard in doing that sparring. You put Tyson Fury, who's not the biggest puncher in the world, in 10-ounce boxing gloves. You're 49 years old. You've not been hit solid in 8 years. just all these red flags. He's going to be slower. People say, well, Tyson Fury's not in his prime. He's not in his prime, but he's closer to it than Klitschko. Tyson Fury, if he fights, say, May next year, Wladimir Klitschko, Tyson Fury would be 36 years old. It'd be 13 years. Well, it was like that the first time, but still a massive age gap. People say, well, Jake Paul, it's not as bad as that. Yeah, look, you've got a guy closer to 50, who's literally, nearly 50, against the guy who's, closer to 40, but he's still a good bit away from 40. It's still the same thing. So I hope they don't do that fight. I really do. Just because I just don't see, like, if Wladimir Klitschko came back, and let's just say, hypothetically, let's say the belts get fragmented. Say Daniel Dubois does a voluntary defense against, Mike Perez. I know he's in the top 5 of the WBC or WBA. Let's just say, hypothetically, he fights Mike Perez, who's a cruiserweight. He's not fought a heavyweight in years, so I don't know how he's ranked a heavyweight. Let's say he fights Mike Perez, and Mike Perez wins. Dubois suffers a freak injury. Maybe, yeah, I'd give Klitschko a chance there, because the last real game opponent that Perez fought, I think, was Andrew Tabiti. Maybe, yeah, I'd give him a chance there. But against a heavyweight who's, if he's not at his best, he's not a million miles removed from it. No, not a hope. I wouldn't give Klitschko a prayer. I wouldn't give him a prayer. I don't think it'll happen. I think this is Turki a la Sheik. Look, I like what Turki does. He puts on brilliant shows. But as Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren have said, sometimes they need to kind of, he wanted to add 2 more big fights, God knows what they were, to this February 22nd show. And in one sense, I'm glad he didn't, because it genuinely would have been going on into the wee hours, UK time. Like, I would have loved it in one sense, but it wouldn't have been fun to be sitting there at 3 a.m. for a fight that's on basically UK time. That wouldn't have been fun. So I think sometimes he lets that kind of head, because he knows he can make all these fights. He's like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. It's like, whoa, rein it in a bit. I think that's what he needs to do. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. People, I hope you enjoyed the video. Smash the like button if you could. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, lads, I will leave it there. Peace.